Hello traders, this is where we take a look at last week and the week ahead. This is for the week starting the new month of March, and it's going to start March 3rd, 2025. So this is what this video is concerning, is this week's look ahead. So first of all, we're going to add the Dow Jones, and we're going to look at this on a weekly chart. So these will be where we take a weekly chart and we start to break it down. So here we see in the fib selection that we have gone through the 78 or the extension fib of 178.4, and we have hit somewhat of a double top, setting up here at 45,235. Now, if we zero in on last candle move, we see these double tops right here. We see this large bearish candle. We see this new candle here, this next candle forming. This is a pullback on this bearish candle. So we're right now looking at this as a pullback. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go down the dailies, and we're going to focus on this pullback here to this large candle right here. And we're going to see how last week's pullback is going to affect this week's look ahead compared to this candle here. So let's go ahead and go down onto the daily candle. Now we take a look at the daily. We see here this last week was the pullback from the previous week's down move. That's that large weekly candle, that red candle. This is the white candle due to the fact that on Friday we had a very large up move on a single day. So you can see here that if we continue up, meaning that if this is going to go long, which I believe on open is going to continue up, the resistance level is going to be right here around this spot in this zone. You see the support turn resistance going to be right around there in 44.25.9, somewhere in there. It's at that point that we're going to look for a possible change in direction to the downside. Now, if we start to go up and then come back down, break through, up, down, and continue to the downside, we're going to look at possible the downside target in that. So right now we're looking for maybe a further pullback, maybe down to the zones of previous weeks down in this 41.959 zone. So we're looking at that very carefully. There's one here, 42.159. So we're watching this to see how this plays out in this channel. So again, we're looking for up move at the market open and probably a down move either Monday or Tuesday if this comes back into the channel. So if it peekaboos out of the channel and comes back in, we're looking for that down move. Now, what negates the down move? Meaning, what would we look for if it didn't go down, it went up? Well, just the opposite. We look for that breakout, that pullback again, and we're looking for that to stay at support again around that 44 zone and then lift out. And that's where the trade would take place right there. Okay. So those are the things we're looking for. Now, as we get down into the smaller time frames, let's go down the 15-minute. Okay. So again, we're looking at an up move on open, and we're looking to see what it does here at 44.276. That's the approximate area of the channel right there. Okay. So we're looking to see what it does at that point. Okay. And that's where it gets interesting. That's where you have to put on your spidey senses. So this is what we're looking for. Now, is this a viable trade to go short here? Yes, because the risk is small. So if you're going to put in a short trade, make sure your risk is just above up here on that line. Okay. Approximately right about, let's put that in there just so you have it right about there. Okay. Somewhere up in there. Now, I would wait until it's finished, till you get a reversal signal put in your trade. Wait till you get some sort of reversal candle to put in that trade. And that's where I'd put it at. Okay. And again, we'll go over the long position. If we think that this is going to go long, we would look for that breakout, that hold, that pullback that hold, the reversal set up right there, and then we would enter and go. Okay, and that's how we would play that game. Now, on all these, it may dippity do a little bit down and then come back out. That's just stuff you have to watch for. You have to gain an understanding of how to trade that in detail down, say, like on the 5-minute chart to do your entries and so forth. We teach that in Alpha Trader. That's what we do. So to help you refine your trading and get it really dialed in so you get a really good entry. So that's the view on going into this week on the Dow Jones. Okay, gold, the weekly, very large outside candle. Okay, so again, we're going to be looking at pullbacks to go short on gold. Okay, now sometimes what can happen in these situations is you can have where gold or any other currency or any other index will do something like this, put in that outside candle, drive it up further, and then drop down. Okay, so we've got to be aware of that. Okay, just to put that out there so you understand it. An outside candle is not a 100% guarantee that this is going to continue to the downside. So as we go down into the candles and look and see what's going on, we're going to determine the probabilities of which way this is going to roll. So here on the 4-hour, you see a nice little bullish reversal here. And what we're looking for is a pullback. Now, where does the pullback go to? Well, we probably want to look somewhere in the neighborhood of anywhere between right about here and in this zone somewhere. Okay, so somewhere in this zone, we get a reversal. And let's just say it comes back down, and we want to see that eventually break. Okay, and what we want to do is break this low here, and we want to come further down and hit the target of 28. Let me roll this up there, 28.18. So that's where I believe gold probably heads to this week. So we're going to look for a bullish pullback on the opening of the week. Then we're going to look for that bullish move to fade, and then that fade to eventually roll over and break this low here. I think it came down about 28.33. Break that and come down to the level of 28.18 is what my outlook for gold is. Now, when we do the channels on this is all that we have currently, okay? Because we really haven't put in a higher low yet, okay? So we're somewhere looking at that as our channel, but we're not absolutely sure. So again, in this zone somewhere, depending on when it gets there, this would be the top of that channel, and then we would look for a continuation downside, that 28.17. If we break above this zone here, meaning this green box here, if we break and hold above it, so say we come in here and we break out and we hold above like this, and we bring back down, retest, and out, then gold goes much higher, okay? But we need to watch this zone right somewhere in here for the reversal to the downside is what I'm thinking it's going to do this week to the downside move in gold after the upside pullback. Friday, I thought dollar would give us more of a pullback before it took off, but it did not. Just kind of tiptoed down a little bit and shot off. So what is my prediction coming up this week? Okay, we go to the weekly chart on our dollar index, okay, and we look at this candle. This is an outside candle, okay, very large outside candle. So we are definitely expecting a pullback to continue to take place here this week, okay, and I would predict that it's going to break through this channel, but we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. So what are we looking for here? Well, right now we see this is the high and this is the low. So we're just going to mark those up real quick. So this is our current high and current low on the weekly chart. Okay, that's what we're looking at. Now, with that being said, what we want to do is we want to look at this as a pullback. Okay, so when we go down into the smaller time frames, we're going to be looking at this as a pullback but not a continuation to a breakout to the top side yet. Okay, we're just going to wait on the pullback and play that pullback. Okay, so now when we go down into, let's just say, the 4-hour chart, we have that pullback envisioned in our mind. Okay, so how would this play out? There's our current high, and there's our current low down here. Okay, so the way this would play out is we would look over the next few days, we would look for something like this. We would look for this pullback, continuation up, and at that point, we want to be neutral on dollar, and we want to wait for it to either range out or create a reversal pattern, either to the downside, or create a continuation pattern. And the continuation pattern is always a breakout, a retest, and then continuation. So breakout, retest, continuation. Okay, that's the pattern we look for if we think dollar is going higher. So we want to hold here, and once we either hold here or go out and come back in to the channel, we want to make sure we have that reversal pattern there that indicates to us, hey, it's go time. Take the trade down to the downside. Okay, so as of right now, I'm still bullish on dollar, and I still think now that we're closing, the Trump administration is closing out global funding, there's going to be less and less dollars, and because there's less and less dollars, the value of the dollar is going to continue to go higher and higher. So I do believe that even if we do get a pullback here, even if we do hit here and come down, I believe that's a pullback to break out and continue up. So that's really what I'm looking for on dollar this week. Now, mini NASDAQ, we see here this range on the weekly. We've been in since December, and it looked like we were getting ready to push out, and then we had this big failure here. Now, the thing we need to take into consideration is that even though the body did not close really strong low here, we still have a wick on this body which closed below all of these wicks made from December on to now. It's the lowest point of the NASDAQ in the first part of the year in 2025. Okay, so what do we also look out for here? Well, we see that the body closed lower than any other body in this range. Okay, so what this does is this begins to put a bearish or a pullback, more of a pullback move on the NASDAQ that we need to be made aware of. Okay, so right now, because of that, we're looking at NASDAQ as a pullback short this week. So on Friday, we talked about a contrarian move, pullback, and a continuation down. Now, had the opportunity to take that and grab that long there, but we're looking at this now to create a lower high. Okay, so we had this high here, then we had this low, then we had this high, we had this low, and now we're looking for this lower high to be created there. Okay, so that's how we're looking at this to be, to play out. Okay, so what we would expect in a scenario like this is we expect a push, a hold, back in, continuation down. Okay, so I'm looking at NASDAQ as, because of those weekly candles, as being a possible short. Now, it's not fully in that area yet, but it's getting very close, and I have to lean to that side. Again, if we saw this breakout, we'd expect something like this: a push out, a pullback, retest, and out. Okay, and that would be the weekly goal, somewhere in the neighborhood of 21,677. I'm more on the side of this being short, so looking at that, because if you have less dollars, you have less risk. less risk equals risk off. And so we're looking at a risk off scenario here, unless something drastically changes during the week. And we will keep you posted of that on our daily look ahead. So this is what we're looking at here. This completes this week's look ahead. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it helps. Go ahead and click the link in the description of this video if you'd like to join us at Alpha Trader, and we can show you how to really make precise entry moves to get the best positioning for your trades. Take care, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.